The jail time sentence that was never earned. The case of Michael Christopher Airo. California prison at sunrise. Michael Christopher Airo is in prison. 15 years. No parole. Not for rape. Not for physical assault. Not even for confirmed touching. His charge? An alleged kiss on the stomach. A story that allegedly happened 15 years before anyone said a word. He's doing 15 years for something that may never have happened and never would have been charged in any other state. Michael in the classroom. Michael was a teacher, a professional, a man with no criminal history. He still is. A man of a perfect career, respected, quiet, loved by his students. But his past was complicated because of a decision to date an older woman with children of similar age to himself, a 17-year-old minor at the time they met. At 17, he was groomed by a much older woman, Jane Doe's mother. Let that sink in. The same woman who now says under oath that nothing ever happened to her daughter. The one adult in all this repeatedly says under oath nothing ever happened to her daughter. Nobody cares. And her daughter, Jane Doe? She told people the same thing for years. Jane Doe, repeatedly under oath in depositions, told people the same thing, that nothing happened, until her older sister, with a personal vendetta, intervened. Courtroom. The sister, a former teen runaway with a chaotic past, held onto her resentment of Michael. 15 years later, she found a way to use it. She re-entered the family's life and started influencing Jane's memories until the story changed. From nothing happened to he kissed my stomach. 15 years of silence. No contact. No grooming. No love letters. No photos. No interaction at all. In old age, the sister decides to create a story of a kiss on the stomach. Yes, just a stomach kiss? Something so simple and not sexual provided the right context. No evidence. No text. No grooming behavior by Airo. No police report until years later, right after the sister came back into the picture. Meanwhile, the mother, the only adult in the house, told the court that nothing happened. Sworn testimony. Ignored. Jane's own past statements denying any abuse. Ignored. Her hesitation on the stand? Brushed aside. No one cares about lack of evidence of any crime. No one cares about the facts. No one cares about the truth. Police body cam footage showing coaching suggestive leading questioning by the sister and police. And then there's this, law enforcement coaxing the story into shape. Tell us what we need to hear. Are you sure that's all? Would you like to add something? That's not justice. That's manufacturing a narrative. When a story gets told enough times, people stop asking if it's true. Entrapment attempts by police were evidenced to be unsuccessful because Michael Christopher Airo, after decades of old age, did not care to reply to the Facebook message thread coaxed by Jane Doe and police in an entrapment mission. Failed attempts to get Airo to communicate. All evidence. Airo was never obsessed with Jane Doe. No. Instead, it is Jane Doe, police, and more specifically Jane Doe's sister, who is obsessed with Airo, the girl who got away. She harassed Airo in public at an unexpected moment. They pumped into each other once when she was with her boyfriend at the fair. All unplanned, but her abusive, threatening reaction was only harassment that proves obsession. An obsession so vindictive it is easy to see how a case like this could be created after so many decades of time, specifically during the time innocent Jane Doe was living with her sister. Fragile of mind, struggling financially, a college dropout. Jane Doe's sister swooped in to save Jane with a story to get back at Airo for not liking her. The sister, who was infatuated with Airo, was of similar age to him. She always hid her secret crush and was jealous that Airo was always ignoring her. Airo was in love with her mother, not her, although they were of similar ages. Airo would help her little sister in school because she needed it and was his student. Sister. Never any attention for herself. She repeatedly reacts with outbursts and threats. Even in trial, courtroom loud threats are evidence stating, "We will imprison you, we will win, your life will forever be messed up," or similar words placed to record by the news. Threats only evidencing insanity and obsession by Jane's sister. Malicious threats. Vindictive threats. Lack of care that he did nothing. Lack of care that she herself saw nothing. Never did she see anything. Her story was created to frame an otherwise a good story of what the people wanted to hear. What sounds best. She did not care about the truth. She wanted to hurt Airo the only way she knew how. Destroying his career. Destroying his freedom. Destroying his life. Michael was never obsessed. Michael never stalked her. No sight. No words. no care about anyone in the family. Instead, after breakups, he historically moves on and never interacts with past relationships ever again. It is so common nowadays, people date and stay friends or see each other randomly. Not Airo. A breakup is a breakup. No obsession and absolutely no interaction ever with past relationships or their family. Never did Airo ever reach out to anyone in Jane Doe family. Not even once in over 15 years as he approached old age. He never looked back. Never even once. Not even when police entrapment attempts occurred via Facebook just before 2017 court dates. Never did Airo feel obsessed or care to respond to this entrapment. Police went to all these lengths to get Airo imprisoned, all with no reply or success. But this never mattered. In this day and age, you can go to prison for doing nothing wrong. Even when no evidence of a crime exists. Even when nothing happened. Even when everyone repeatedly says nothing happened. Everyone except the sister of Jane Doe, of course, who through suggestive communications fabricated the stories in her sister's mind. Michael Christopher Airo never contacted her. Never acted inappropriately before or after. For 15 years, complete and total silence. That doesn't fit any profile of obsession, grooming, or abuse. That doesn't fit any profile of sexual interest. All this evidence has absolutely no interest at all. All this evidence shows absolutely never any interest in anyone in the family for decades. Never reaching out to any of them. Instead, Jane Doe's sister is the obsessed one. She is interested and seeks out Airo to threaten him any chance she gets. Whether it is in the courtroom, whether it is to reporters, whether it is to TV or news, whether it is to her sister, police, her boyfriend who took the stand although irrelevant to the case entirely and never around to be actual witness to anything. Whether it is to Airo, the sister is repeatedly threatening Airo. Whether it is to Airo himself, harassing and threatening him in public although abusively not justifiable and random. The sister more than anyone seems off her hinges. If I was a male, I would surely run from her. Seems completely and totally disingenuous. A female who simply prefers ruining the lives of amazing people like Michael because she can't be with him herself. He was never attracted to the sister. He was always attracted to older women. The sister wanted attention she could not have.
Such a sad, sad story.
Karma will be harsh and true one day, as this sister deserves the worst in life. There is no worse crime than imprisoning an innocent person who is selfless, kind, and only always good to the world around him. And the court knew it. But instead of dismissing the case, the judge allowed prejudicial testimony. Even admitted, I know this is borderline abusive, as he allowed emotionally charged, irrelevant stories to sway the jury. I've seen a lot. I've worked disaster relief for DHS. I hold a master's in environmental law from a top law school 12 years in a row, and ongoingly the best, and I've spent years advocating for not for victims. Instead for the honest truth, integrity, and fairness. Advocating for the good to prevail. Advocating for the innocent to be saved, protected, and provided justice. Michael Christopher Airo is never the predator here or any time in his entire life.
This is fact.
Study him, and you will see this fact. Michael Christopher Airo is only selfless, kind, and good. Never a criminal. Never any crimes. Never any history of anything other than excellence as a teacher in decades serving our children. Today, he teaches criminals in prison how to be a good human being. He gets bullied, beat up, and threatened daily. He eats horrible food. Sleeps on uncomfortable beds with dirty laundry. Always cold, never a sweater to comfort him. Every day risking his life as criminals threaten him, bully him, and attempt to kill him while he serves time for something he never did. He's the victim. Nobody cares. He was groomed and taken advantage of. As I always would say, the Airo family is a fluffy teddy bear against the harsh, mean world. They all have the same kind demeanor. The Airo family all have this innocence about them. An innocence easily taken advantage of. An innocence and personality that goes from mom to dad to Airo to brother to cousin to uncle. If you meet one person of the Airo family, you meet them all. They are protectors of the truth.
Kind.
Selfless. Innocent. All a long line of teachers and lawyers with absolute pristine reputations for being good, selfless, and caring about the law. Doing what is right. Doing for others.
Kind.
Most importantly, innocent. The Airo family history, character, professional background, and honest words are silenced and ignored. Erased from the record. Controlled from speaking at all.
And now,
He's behind bars for something that never happened, a fantasy whispered into reality. Michael's classroom. If a stomach kiss that never happened gets 15 years, what hope is there for truth and sanity of freedoms we all have a right to? Innocent until proven guilty or guilty with no care for the truth. Prison bars, gross food, horrible, uncomfortable clothing, no good toothpaste, soap, or hygiene products. COVID is rampant. Good luck surviving prison. We spend thousands to house people in prison daily. It is a business. Courts seek to imprison for economic gains. Government tax dollar grants. Free cheap labor. Our prisoners do construction, build metal and other infrastructure, transcribe books in Braille and other languages. Prisoners lead the workforce in outputting work as nearly free labor. No workers' rights here. Completely taken advantage of once again. A broken system that is criminal and unlawful in itself. An abuse of human rights laws. An abuse to freedoms given by the U.S. Constitution. You would think the truth would matter. Nobody cares. Innocent lives don't matter. Our police will imprison anything that walks. Minorities, good luck. You are the first to be taken advantage of. My mother missed a court date for turning left on a road 4 years ago. When she ran out of gas on the highway, the police imprisoned her for missing that court date, although never a criminal. Never any crime. Caused her a $300 tow. $500 impoundment of her vehicle. Caused her electricity at home to lapse. Water at home lapsed, so I was forced to pretend I am a renter and take over these bills. Her 3 Sevis animals are homeless and motherless, and the caretaker was taken away in cuffs for doing nothing wrong but missing a court date she was never given notice of. Life disrupted for weeks. Irreversible pain and suffering to our disabled elderly mom of 3 military daughters as they serve overseas. They must worry of the safety of her mom, as the police do not protect the innocent. They abuse them for no reason. No crime. Even funnier. How traffic situations or not cutting your grass can get you $1,000 fines, while an evicted tenant who never pays $12,000 in rent and utilities gets no prison, no fines, and no penalty of any kind. Attorneys will tell you there is nothing you can do about people squatting. Lawyers say you will lose money and never get paid for damages. We can win in court, but do not expect a dime from a system that is broken. The squatter, they can get the record deleted and expunged as well, so it is a waste of time seeking justice against them. On a separate note, literally 9 months ago, my disabled mother had car trouble at 1:30 a.m. and pulled over in a lit Dollar General parking lot. The police, instead of asking if she was okay or helping her, threatened her, stole her cash, harassed her about getting her driver's license, although they stated, "Hello, Jane," and knew her by name. They forced her into their vehicle and cuffed her, taking her to prison for having car trouble on the side of the road. But here there were no past missed court dates or reason to imprison her. They simply harassed and threatened my disabled mother on purpose for no reason. The police officer, a large, powerful, buff male of 6 foot tall, told my mother he was going to sit in the back of the cop car with her. My disabled 5 feet mother said, "No, you're not sitting with me," and literally climbed her way out of the vehicle and clung to the grass in protest because of the threats of sexual, physical, and verbal abuse. She went to prison for no crime for simply having car trouble and was literally attacked and abused by police officers because she was alone and easily taken advantage of. A disabled mother of 4 children, 3 U.S. Coast Guard service members away deployed and serving our nation, only to experience attacks to our disabled innocent mother for no reason. The world is broken. How can anyone do this to someone? Funny thing is, all is worse than you think. In the city of Pittston, Pennsylvania, the code officer hit and run my mother with a truck in our parking lot, breaking her bones and causing her disabled medical issues she still has today. That was in 2018, and she is still being harassed. The police, judges, and code officers are best friends living in the same building. All a corrupt system. Doge, we need your help. Please fix the systems engulfed in abuse and fraud, lies and wrongs with no cares of their duty to protect the innocent. Pittston, Pennsylvania, and Wilkes-Barre and Kingston and Scranton, the home of the office and the Biden Expressway. Corruption is everywhere in our police, judicial systems, and code officials' actions. They intentionally condemn and steal properties from homeowners in an abusive, unlawful manner without paying market value to the owners or creating a public use for the land after their unlawful take. I can go on forever about all the wrongs seen, abuse ignored, unlawful actions that continue without care by those who are supposed to protect us, implement the law, and do good for humanity. Doge, we need your help. Michael Christopher Airo was never a threat. He never crossed a line. There was no pattern, no perversion, no obsession. He's not just innocent. He is proof that false memories, coached testimony, and broken systems ruin lives. And if we stay silent, where next? Demand justice. Sign the petition. Contact Governor Gavin Newsom. Demand a full pardon. Airo is forgotten, but not anymore. You heard his story, but what will you do to ensure Michael gets justice, gets a fair trial, or gets heard? One false memory, one broken system, one innocent man in prison. But wait, there's probably more. Demand justice. Demand his release. Demand a pardon. Hashtag innocence matters. Hashtag this is not justice. Innocence should not be a death sentence. Hashtag free Airo. Hashtag innocent until proven guilty. Hashtag dismiss the case. Hashtag save Airo. Please subscribe and help us continue to bring about positive changes in the world.